called her at college in Cairo to tell her that her cousin had been killed. Her cousin's brother had stabbed his sister because a few months earlier she got involved with a Muslim man. Her family did not like this because they were Christians. The victim's mother witnessed the killing, but the police were only called in after the body was taken to the hospital and was then reported as a murder. The mother broke down when she was questioned and admitted her son was the killer. He was then captured and said he did it because of his sister's bad morals. Sarah now refuses to go home out of fear because rumors can get young women killed there. This story came from the Jerusalem Post, published March 6, 2012. The problem is that honor killings are occurring in the Middle East today. Merriam-Webster-Dictionary.com, copyright 2013, states that honor killings are a traditional practice in some countries of killing a family member who is believed to have brought shame on the family. According to CNN.com, updated April 4, 2013, thousands of women live in shelters across Afghanistan, where many of them were victims of attempted honor killings. There are 14 shelters in Afghanistan, and UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon expressed concern about the 20% increase in civilian casualties among women and girls in Afghanistan in 2012. The UN claims that the Afghan Ministry of Women reported 4,000 cases of violence against women and girls between 2010 and 2012. A National Geographic article from 2002 states that it is hard to get precise numbers of honor killings because they usually go unreported. According to Time.com, published February 25, 2011, honor killings are performed because the victim wore westernized dress, became a target of gossip, balked at an arranged marriage, or were raped. The murder is often a family decision, with the father, brother, or male cousin carrying out the act. Rarely a female relative like the mother does the killing. According to the NewYorkTimes.com, published November 20, 2010, honor killings are happening today. Surwa Hama Amin fell in love with her neighbor Aram Jamal Rasul in northern Iraq. They kept it a secret from their families because they knew they would not approve because Rasul has a limp. The problem started when Amin's brother caught her sending a text to Rasul. Her male relatives then threatened to drown her and took her phone away. She became a captive in her own home, and when Rasul's brother visited, he found Amin beaten. One night she snuck out and told Rasul that they should kill themselves. But he said, only if they find us. So that night the couple went to the police and explained the situation. Rasul was arrested for having a grenade and also for his own safety, while Amin was sent to a shelter. The couple was later married, even though Amin's family objected to the marriage. They agreed that as long as the couple never returns to Dokkan, then they would not hunt her down. 3.5 months later, Amin heard gunshots and her husband calling her name. When she opened the door, she saw Rasul covered in blood and one of her brothers aiming a gun at her. Amin said that someone else shot her husband, even though she could only see her brother. The gunman shot Rasul in the chest 17 times and shot Amin 4 times in the leg and hip. At the time, Amin was 2 months pregnant. One of Amin's brothers was part of the shooting. One of her brothers from the shooting said that he did not kill his brother-in-law, but he paid another brother and one of Rasul's brothers $10,000 to kill the couple. The police arrested no one, but the tribal leaders brought the families together where Rasul's father was forced to forgive his son's killers and promised not to kill them, and Amin's family promised not to kill her. Amin lives with her husband's family, with her son Aram, named after her husband, while in constant fear that her relatives will try to kill her. Whenever Amin leaves the house, she is escorted by armed in-laws. By Kurdish custom, she is now disgraced and unsuitable for marriage. CNN.com, updated on April 4, 2013, stated that the most recent honor killing attempt happened in Pakistan. 17-year-old Galmina now lives in a women's shelter in Afghanistan. She was married off when she was 12 years old to a 60-year-old man who beat her every day. When she told her family, they would hit her and tell her she belonged in her husband's house. After 5 years, Gul met an Afghan man and mustered up the courage to leave her husband. She knew this was the ultimate crime, but several times before, she unsuccessfully tried to poison herself. Days later, her brother found her in Afghanistan while he was armed with an axe. He killed Gulmina's friend and struck his own sister 15 times. Assuming she was dead, he left, and her family denies that he ever tried to kill her. A passerby heard the commotion and brought her to the hospital. Most of the injuries were to her face and neck. The doctor who operated on her said that part of her brain was hanging out of her skull, and that her face looked like meat before they sewed it back together. Gulmina had no one to care for her, so for 2 months she stayed in the hospital thanks to some of the doctors who donated money to pay for her stay. She now stays at the American Afghan organization Women for Afghan Women shelter. When she first got there, she couldn't walk, talk, or eat by herself. The effects of honor killings are terrible. They are affected physically. Updated January 30th, 2012 from CNN.com stated that the majority of people die from these so-called honor killings. CNN.com updated April 4th, 2013 also stated that if they survive these attacks, they are severely hurt. They are also affected mentally. According to CNN.com, updated April 4th, 2013, a person after this kind of attack is scared to go out of the shelter, a fear they might be hunted down again. If they do leave, it is a death sentence. Gulmina says she wishes she had died the day she was attacked because she is so ashamed of the way she looks now. I need you to personally take action. You will need to donate money. All you have to do is go to womenforafghanwomen.org and click on Donate. Then you will have to decide how much you would like to donate. This will help by keeping the shelters open. By donating money, you can keep these shelters from closing. All of the shelters in Afghanistan are funded by outside countries. The concern is that once all of the international forces pull out by the end of 2014, so will the funding for the shelters. This will help women in Afghanistan recover, get an education, and the shelter provides all of the necessities the women need. Things will get worse if my plan is not followed. The shelters will close, and many of those women will be hunted down by their families and killed. If that doesn't happen, then they will have nowhere to go. The same thing will happen to the future survivor of these attacks. I need your help to make sure these survivors of the honor killings have somewhere safe to go. All you have to do is go to womenforafghanwomen.org and click on Donate. You should do this today. This will make a difference because then the shelters will be able to stay open and continue to care for the young victims of these brutal attempted murders.